So we normally do the box office at this point. I almost would say like the box office itself is inextricably linked with one of our topics.
Yeah.
So do we and then that would almost make our last topic seem unimportant. So Daniel, do we hit the box office first, or do we do an update on one of last week's stories first?
Um, let's update last week's story first,
Yes.
just to
So
change things up a little.
yeah. So we have a new story and an old story. So old story. They've backed off a little bit from the Roald Dahl thing
Hmm.
and are going to be releasing an edition that that is the original to go along with the censored version. Now, of course, the real victory would be to not have any version that was censored
Yes.
and let people make their own choices. But you know, it's something.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, this article I read a little bit of before we started because I was looking up something that confirmed the Roald Dahl story, and
Yeah.
the author makes an interesting point further on down. However, James Bond classics now being edited for your protection.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ian Fleming is getting the same treatment as Roald Dahl, and
Yes,
it's and from what I've heard, it's whatever bad things about saying bad things about certain groups of people.
and some of the sexual content, which
Yeah.
I'm going to be frank. James Bond is up there with the Flashman Papers and certain other properties where if you remove the sexism and racism, what do you have left? Like you just have, there's a guy named Blofeld who's going to blow up the world, and James Bond is going to go in an orderly fashion from exotic locale to exotic locale, and certainly
Yeah.
not romance any ladies. No, that would,
No,
or have any opinions about the ladies he's romancing.
no. He's gonna get into car chases and fights and gun battles.
So eh, this author from the Independent, by the name of Lewis Chilton, uh, made a very interesting point. So first off, he mentioned how Warner Brothers shows Looney Tunes something. While these cartoons do not represent today's society, they are being presented as they were originally created because to otherwise we do the same as claiming those prejudices never existed. So
Yes, way to
well
go.
done, Warner
Yeah,
Brothers. That's the
yeah.
proper approach to take. There are
Yes.
certain episodes that are just outright banned. Um, it's harder to make a case to keep Coal Black and the Seven Dwarves in circulation.
Yeah.
It should probably be available in some form,
Yeah.
just for historical preservation. But it's hard to like say, yeah, let's put that on a DVD and have it sitting at Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah. Have they effectively canceled Speedy Gonzales?
They keep ping ponging on Speedy Gonzales so freaking much. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so here's the thing. The character is very popular in Latin America,
Mm-hmm.
so, and he was like in the latter part of Warner Brothers, a huge chunk of their output involved Speedy. Mind you, a lot of that wasn't very good because it was the stupid made-for-TV cartoons with him fighting Daffy Duck of all people.
Yeah.
But Speedy was like was one of those characters who really like was big in the latter half of Looney Tunes lifespan.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's like they keep trying to decide: is he an insensitive character with stereotypes with a white guy named Mel Blanc playing him with a pronounced accent, or
It's-
is he a fun, clever hero who always one ups his enemies despite being outgunned and outmatched?
I would say the latter.
Yeah, but it's just like the
Yeah.
popular opinion keeps ping ponging around.
Yeah.
It's similar to the situation in there was a joke about it in Looney Tunes Back in Action. another Brendan Fraser movie,
Yeah, yeah.
where you have Porky. I forget if he's like if he's at an interview or if he's sitting at a cafe, but it's like well, you told me to lose the stutter, then get the stutter back, and lose the stutter again. Well, make up your mind. Because and that actually kind of points out the problem of trying to modify things for modern audiences. What modern audiences want can turn on a freaking dime in a moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this author makes an interesting case. A cynical mind might also question the timing of the Bond news, just days after the Dahl revelations provoked frantic online consternation. You could hardly contrive a more high profile marketing campaign than this. The announcement of a new unamended Roald Dahl classic collection is about as lucrative an act of appeasement as they come.
Mm-hmm.
So, their theory was that it isn't so much a get woke, go broke situation, it's a threaten to go woke so people give you money so you don't. And then but you also have your woke editions. You get to sell twice as many books for
Yeah.
books that in we've talked about before. The beauty of distribution along these lines is that once the book exists, as long as you can, as long as you don't lose your master of it, you can just make unlimited digital copies, print as many books as you think you can sell at your book channels.
Yeah.
And since the author's dead, you're mostly just sharing with the estate.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's basically free money.
Yeah. Pretty much. And yeah, Ninja says that is actually clever and hilarious.
You almost wonder if that's we went over last week with the Roald Dahl situation, why so much of the censorship seemed pointless and stupid. You almost wonder if the sensitivity readers are being played,
Yeah.
like they're intentionally making them do stupid things. Also, you can tell I have the new glasses with the blue light filter because
Oh.
I'm at just the right angle to make my eyes look just completely anime protagonist or anime
Yeah.
villain.
Yeah. Yes.
But so I think our actual stance on this hasn't changed. We are opposed to
No.
censorship, especially with people who can't defend themselves. Because, like, imagine if Roald Dahl or even Fleming were alive and they said, hey, I thought about it. There is something I would like to change in this book. There's more of a case to be made.
Yeah. 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 Push. Push up the glasses.
Exactly according to Keikaku.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, uh, anyway, George Lucas, it's different if George Lucas does things to his creation versus if he died and Bob Iger did something to his collection.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think, um, if the creator of the work is no longer with us, and they're not there to defend themselves, then they, just leave it alone. Don't mess with it at all. Yeah,
Yep. Again, it would be better to take things out of, excuse me,
that's right.
it would almost be better to take it out of circulation for a while rather than to try to modify it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Ninja Toast says, yeah, the only censorship that is acceptable is before publishing, aka editing. Yeah.
Yep.
I've actually heard stories about that too. Like a lot of writers, they'll actually they won't submit their work until like the very last minute before they have to, so to avoid any real hardcore editing.
Very sneaky.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I'm kind of almost buying into this guy's thesis that it's just them trying to drum up interest for books where the sales have been down for a bit.
yeah. That wouldn't, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Because we've seen a large cottage industry making money off of outrage.
Yes.
It would be surprising if people in the publishing industry hadn't noticed and hadn't been coming up with strategies to double dip like this.
Yeah. 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 I'm kind of surprised it took this long.
Yeah. So now basically now on top of a lot of YouTube outrage seeming mildly pointless these days. Now we have to worry about, okay, who was it cui bono?
I think
Who
so. Yeah.
benefits?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we know one person who didn't benefit, to kind of go back to our headline story.
Yes.